Greetings and salutations. This is Jeff, and once again, I'd like to thank Sugar for the opportunity to have another video on her channel. Last video that I made was for Made in Abyss, which became our collective anime of the year for 2017. Today, I want to talk to you about something more predictive in nature rather than reactive. I want to take a crack at why I have the feeling that Season 2 of Overlord is going to eclipse the first. It might end up actually being one of the best experiences within the genre. This is without ever having read the manga, only with my impressions of Season 1 and the first episode of Season 2 thus far. Sugar and I marathoned through Overlord somewhat recently to prepare for the second season, which recently aired its first episode. Almost unfortunately, I would say that this genre of anime has become oversaturated. I love portal fantasy and the idea of being taken from Earth into another place in time, and even the idea of having skill sets which separate you from the rest of that world. This is a genre that has become inundated recently, and many popular ones tend to follow a similar conceit to what Overlord ended up doing in the first season. A person is trapped in a game but has remarkable skills and abilities which make them basically a god in this world. This is the basis for a lot of Sword Art Online, for an example. Overlord is perhaps slightly unique in the sense that the main protagonist is overpowered more through his own skill set rather than being gifted a unique skill or a command within the programming. He and his comrades earned their power in Yggdrasil, and he just so happened to be transported seemingly to another game. Still, the first season largely focuses on the fact that Momonga is exceptionally powerful, almost making the series somewhat trivial and laughable, at least until the final episodes. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the series and I felt it touched on some aspects of this genre that are often skipped. Momonga is exceptionally bright at understanding how games are programmed and how he can, in this new reality, use the basis of video game programming to his advantage. He maneuvers himself into a position of power within the world to gain intelligence and money that ends up working in this world. There are elements that you don't get to see with something like SAO because, it isn't about just being a destructive force due to reasons. Everything is explained. All this combined with his power set made Momonga largely indestructible in Season 1, which leaves you feeling almost a little disappointed. Unlike something like One Punch Man, where that was the entire point of the anime, it makes you kind of shrug off any perceived danger. When there is no danger to the protagonist, you lose something in a narrative. The reason why Season 2 will eclipse the first is that this structure no longer exists. Don't get me wrong, Momonga is still exceptionally powerful. He's a being that rivals the gods in this world, but you forget that in RPGs, it is often the task of both players in the game and some of the NPCs to fight and defeat gods. Momonga realizes this in Season 1 as he is forced to fight his own allies who have been turned against him due to the effects of items within the game that are different from Yggdrasil. Suddenly there are stakes to the battles again. This narrative thread of tension, suspense, and danger, they exist once more. This in turn changes the flow of the anime, where once the series focused on Momonga's immense power and his ability to essentially break the game, he now has to envision and counter how the game will pivot to try to take him down. After all, gods being destroyed in RPGs is not that uncommon. He needs to switch his thinking away from how to game the system to his advantage into how he counters others who will be looking to do the same. This is all shown off so well in the first episode of Season 2, as Momonga takes stock of basically all he has at his disposal and how he will fight against the game. Remember that at this point so far, nobody has been confirmed to be another player from Yggdrasil or anything otherwise. We don't yet know who else has power from being a character in this world, or what powers exist here, players who may have been teleported from Yggdrasil who would be exceptionally powerful like Momonga, or how the game will just simply adapt and change to counteract him. Remember, in Yggdrasil, while he was powerful, there were lots of examples of things within that universe that could threaten him and his power. It's the reason why they had a guild together. They banded together. He no longer has that. There's so many forces in play now that places our heroes, I'll use that term lightly, our protagonists, in the very least, to describe Ainz Gon. It puts them into some form of danger. This is new territory for the anime, and it is wonderful for an anime to address this idea within the trapped in a game genre. The tonal shift will provide just a wonderful breath of fresh air for the series, and it gives Overlord more avenues for meaningful storytelling with vulnerability and worry. And that is why Overlord's second season will surpass the first. Not through more outrageous powers and more overpowered shenanigans, but rather showing the vulnerabilities that must exist in all good video games. Our Lord will be treated like a god in this world, and in some games, gods perish. What do you think? Do you like this new vulnerability in Overlord? Or would you rather Momonga simply continue to raffle stomp through the entire world? Let us know in the comments. Have you watched Season 1? Do you want to watch it now? This is Jeff. Thank you for your time.